Yay!
Very cool.
That was awesome. Hey, Amir.
Hey, how are you?
That was great.
So we'd like to thank our friend Lori Metric from Trailer Works, who is on the line, for helping us put together this beautiful intro video. So thank you, Lori. Okay, hi everyone. As some of you may know, I'm Helen Hatzis. I'm the Chief Community Officer at G100 Foundation, and my colleagues. Oh, sorry, if you don't mind, could you kindly mute? So my colleagues and I at G100 are so pleased that you are joining us today. Before we commence with our exciting program, there is just a bit of housekeeping that I would like to share. So as you can see, we are recording this meeting, and during the meeting, kindly ask that you remain on mute. The chat option will remain open for the duration of the program, so please feel free to connect with us that way for the time being. We will be opening the platform for questions at the very end. So finally, as you can see, we're all still working from home, so please forgive any technical mishaps that may occur during the program.
So Helen, it's Manette. You've stopped my video. I can't open it because it says host that stopped it.
Okay, I will turn them back on. For your viewing pleasure, if you want, click on the full screen.
Yeah, I have the same problem. My camera is.
Okay, no worries. You'll be brought back in. Don't worry. So click on the full screen.
And we can't really hear well. You're too far from the microphone.
Oh, is that right? Okay, I will talk louder. Is that better? So
Better.
on the top right-hand corner, where it says view in your screen, if you could click on speaker view, because when we do have individuals coming on to share.
Helen, you need to look at your volume. It might be low.
I have it at full, so I'm not sure, but thank you. I'm not sure why. Is anyone else having issues hearing me? Oh, I'm so sorry.
You sound very far, and there's no picture of a video of any of you.
Okay, so let me do this. So can you see now? I'm not sure why the volume. I have the volume on full, so I am sorry about that.
You're speaking loud enough, but it's all the cameras that are knocked out.
Okay, well, we'll bring those back in. They're not needed at this moment. Okay, so in the top right-hand corner, you'll see a little icon that says view. If you can click on that and then click on speaker, that way whoever is speaking, you will be able to see that individual, because there are quite a number of lines. So with that in mind, sit back and relax, enjoy the program. And now I'd like to welcome my friend and CEO of G100 Foundation, Hillary Viner. Welcome, Hillary. I'm going to reshare the screen now. There we go.
All right. Can everyone hear me? Great. Thank you all for joining us from all over the world. Literally, it's been really fun to see everyone pop into the screen today from everywhere, and it feels very nice to feel connected. We're so happy to have all of you here, and thank you all for participating in our meeting today. So for those of you who are new, welcome. For those of you who've been around since the beginning, welcome back. We have a pretty packed agenda today. I'm going to go through an overall briefing of what we've been up to over the last year or so since we had our last community meeting. And then we're going to present some of our campaigns and special projects, starting with Einstein's Incredible Universe, IMAX, and some of our campaigns, including Gift of Sight, the Inspiration Awards, our Inspiritus campaign, G100 Blue Ocean, and a special presentation by our special guest, Bill Collins, about ocean conservation, revitalization, and the blue economy. And then we're gonna share some upcoming events. And if anyone is available or cares to, we can stay on till 1:30 and have a little after party so everybody can spend some time together after the meeting. So I just wanted to go through, there we go. So a lot of people have asked kind of in a nutshell what we're about. And this really is that kind of, as you would say, elevator pitch of who we are, what our purpose is. that we provide funds and support to under-resourced humanitarian and environmental initiatives and NGOs in geographies around the world. You'll see that evidenced in all of the information that we're presenting moving forward, but for all of those who have asked kind of how to say this in one line, this is where we are right now with our purpose. These are our categories of focus. So you'll see again, with our campaigns and special projects, they all fall under one of these areas of focus: arts, education, environment, innovation and entrepreneurship, health and wellness, literature, science, and technology. So we have a few milestones to report in on. One is we have a growing team. I joined the team as CEO in October, and we have a CFO and CTO who are both highly skilled and volunteer, which is two really good combinations. And I'm not sure if either of them are on the call today, but hi to Bruce and Wayne, and thank you for your help and all of your guidance. We have some new digital fundraising mechanisms in place and active for all of our campaigns. We've been doing ongoing updates and revisions to our website, and we are now actively engaged on our social media platforms. So if you haven't joined in on our Facebook, Instagram, or LinkedIn, please do, and please share any information that we're posting. We had a wonderful induction ceremony of Astronaut Soichinoguchi in March of this year, which many of you attended. It was incredibly cool because we got to do it from the International Space Station, which, you know, doesn't happen every day, probably doesn't happen every lifetime, but it happened for us. So it was a wonderful event. And then I know Obi's on the line. She's one of our esteemed judges for our inaugural New York Festival Advertising Awards. This year, we've, for the first time, created an Inspiration Award for Genius, which is a very cool thing that we're going to share with you in a few minutes. Membership, I'm going to turn this over to Rami in a moment just to say hi and talk about our membership campaign. But we have some new campaign chairs, Tori Avey, who's on our, who I just saw a few minutes ago, Bill Collins, who I saw a few minutes ago, Helen Lovkin, and Monette. They're all here, which is wonderful. And thank you for being part of our campaigns and your leadership. We have 3 active campaigns going on right now, as well as 3 special projects. But I'm going to hand this over to Rami for a minute just to give us a little word about our membership campaign. Where is Rami?
Here is Rami.
There
Thank
he
you
is.
so much. Can I don't know if you see me, if you hear me, it's all good? Yeah.
Yes, we can.
Yes,
Yeah.
we can.
Okay. Excellent. So welcome everybody. I'm not going so much into the membership campaign. I just would like to go and I just would like to focus on the last year and just say thank you to all the people who helped us and supported us and gave their time, efforts, and resources. And I'm not going to name all of them because thank God there is a lot of you, and your generosity, positive energy, and believing in the vision of Genius 100 what made it happen for us. And now, based on this energy, support, and the great work you're going to see, we're going to re-engage all the community member and all the community and asking them to join us as a member. Membership is really something that's helped us create all the goodness and all the good things that you're going to see in the next couple of minutes. So first of all, thank you again to all of you, and all of you for sure know who you are. And I thank you from the bottom of my heart, from the team and the International Advisory Board as well. So thank you so much.
Thank you, Rami. Yeah, this last 6-8 months year wouldn't have been the same without our morning meetings with Helen and Rami and myself, and our weekly meetings with Monette and Ido and Ala and Dan when they could join us. It's kept all of our spirits lifted and all of, keep our energy up for everything that we're doing here. So just to give you a snapshot of what we're doing, the active campaigns fall under education, health and wellness, and environment. All 3 of those campaigns are being represented just in a few minutes by the people that are working on them. The nice part is we've kind of, gotten everything organized to, for instance, for education with Sima Samar. It's a 4-year campaign with a $2 million goal to help 165 women get a 4-year college degree And I know I just saw Job join in. We're going to be talking about the Gift of Sight campaign with Himalayan Cataract Project, which has a $3 million goal over 3 years to help 24,000 people. So we have a lot of really wonderful work that we're doing in different parts of the world. These are some of our special projects. The ones with the asterisks next to those it's still in development, but the 3 that are active are our IMAX Montreal World Premiere in partnership with Cosmic Pictures, chaired by the wonderful Monette, who I just saw a few minutes ago and hope can hear us. And we also were just recently named executive producers of that film. And Ido and Daniel are going to talk about that in just a minute. And we have our annual Visionary ceremony every March 14th, which will be in the works soon. That's chaired by Rami. And then we have the New York Festival Awards, which we'll talk about in just a minute.
From the makers of the award-winning IMAX film, Jerusalem, comes a bold new vision of science. Rooted in curiosity and wonder.
Can't hear.
Designed to inspire a new generation to imagine the unimaginable, to think like a genius. Before the world knew his name, Albert was a boy filled with questions. He thought in pictures, unlocking the mysteries of the universe in the laboratory of his imagination. Now, for the first time in IMAX, experience Einstein's mind-bending thought experiments for yourself. Travel through time. Race a beam of light. Dive through a black hole. Witness the cosmic spectacle of a lifetime. Discover how a total solar eclipse proved Einstein's radical vision of space and time and changed our understanding of the cosmos. Join a worldwide effort to celebrate the power of creativity and inspire millions of children to solve our most complex challenges by nurturing their greatest gift, imagination. Einstein's Incredible Universe, coming soon.
Sorry for the tech difficulties. I'm not sure quite what's going on, but if any of the rest of the videos are of that quality, we'll just skip them because it's hard to keep everyone's attention. Are Ido and Daniel around?
Yes. Well, thank you so much, Hillary. I know that most people couldn't hear the audio, especially, but we were going to compensate with the very brief conversation. Let me just say before I start asking Daniel questions, Daniel is a very well-known filmmaker who specializes in IMAX movies, world class. We first connected when he and his wonderful team came to Israel with the help of Rami and the wonderful folks in Canada to produce Jerusalem. I should also mention that one of the greatest achievements of this community, although it's not a project listed under our projects per se, is the fact that nowadays there's a new museum, Albert Einstein Museum, being built in Jerusalem by the Hebrew University on land that is owned by the Hebrew University, but with a major gift from a person who was, so this is something we're very, very proud of, and hopefully one day when all of you will come to visit us in Israel, you'll get a chance to visit the Albert Einstein Museum. Daniel, it's such a pleasure to be with you. Although I'm here in Israel and you're in Canada, hopefully we'll get to see each other soon.
I would love that.
But
It's so great to see you again. It's an honor to be part of this community. I just want to say I apologize to everyone for the technical quality of seeing that trailer on Zoom, but I can assure you in IMAX, it will blow your minds.
no doubt about it. And so was IMAX. And tell us, what are the advantages of telling the incredible story of Albert Einstein's universe through that particular format?
Well, first of all, IMAX is well known for taking people to places they can never otherwise go. And we did that in the case of Jerusalem. We took people into the intimate worlds of different people who live in Jerusalem, who love that city. And that film, it came out in 2013. It's still playing today. And it's still having a tremendous impact. It's been seen by 5 million people. So in the one hand, these films have more impact than a television film or a narrative feature or something like that. They live, if you make them right, they live for a very long time. Einstein has never been treated in this format, and we have the ability to take people into the imagination of Albert Einstein at the moment of some of his greatest thought experience in a way that you cannot otherwise get. So you, the audience, get to be Einstein, but you also get to be these incredible astrophysicists, in the case of our film, 2 female astrophysicists who are putting Albert's theories to the test today, and the next generation, what's coming next. So we're going to take you through the universe, through the imagination, and ultimately, hopefully, light the spark of curiosity for a new generation of young people, in a way that Albert was fired up when he was young as well, to solve some of these great challenges.
Can you tell us a little bit, where are you with the production now that we are co-producing this with you? Can you share with our wonderful audience?
Sure. Well,
where you are, what are the needs, and so on?
We're thrilled to have Genius 100 as the executive producer. And Monette, of course, is the chairperson of this committee that's going to launch this film in 2024. We're hoping to have a world premiere coinciding with the next total solar eclipse, April the 8th, mark your calendars, of 2024. And we need that lead time. Actually, we started making this film in 2017. We put 26 cameras across the path of totality to film recreations of that very famous experiment in 1919 that was the very first proof, observational proof of Einstein's general theory of relativity. And we've also been filming in various locations around the world to reveal how Einstein's theories are being tested today in the case of gravitational waves, black holes, what's coming next, what's really, really exciting. So we have started filming. We have a $4 million shortfall to get to our goal. And that's where Genius 100 and the whole community comes in. And so Monette and the entire team has been helping us to raise the balance of the financing. And not just that, but through the Genius 100 community and some of the luminaries on board, we are helping to tailor the educational materials and the outreach so that this film can have a tremendous impact, that it's more than just a movie, that when it's released, it will be part of all kinds of educational programs about not only Albert Einstein, but about his ideas in the 21st century in a way that's accessible to a whole new generation. So I think all of those things combined, it's really the perfect match.
Well, thank you so much, Daniel, for enriching the program with this great insight. And hopefully members of the community that would like to be part of this, just let Hillary and Helen know, and we'll connect you with the production team. Thank you so much, Daniel.
Thank you, everyone, for your support.
Great. Thank you to both of you.
How would you feel if you were able to see throughout your whole life and then you became blind? How would your life be if this happened in a place with no paved roads and no clean water? In a place with limited access to healthcare, with one eye doctor for every 1 million people? In countries like Ethiopia, this is reality. Worldwide, 39 million people are blind, and the vast majority will remain blind until they die. Half are blind from treatable cataracts, where a $25 5-minute surgery can restore sight. Those affected are typically people over 50, but also include children. We work in developing countries with the mission of eradicating preventable and curable blindness. We also provide training for local doctors and established medical infrastructure. There are still over 18 million people who are needlessly blind from treatable cataract. We are the Himalayan Cataract Project. Help us cure blindness.
Thank you, Helen. Is Job around?
I'm right here, Hillary.
Job, how are you? So I
I'm
wanted
great.
to welcome you to the meeting and thank you for joining us and introduce you to everyone here on the call. Job Hines is the CEO of Himalayan Cataract Project. It has been a wonderful supporting friend to me as I've gotten on board and a wonderful community member for Genius. We're going to do a little quick Q&A, literally very quick, 3 questions, and then move on to the next. But thank you for sharing that video with us. And we are hoping our goal together with our Gift of Sight campaign with Himalayan Cataract is to provide funding for 24,000 sight restoring surgeries over the next 3 years. So with that, I just wanted to ask Job a few questions. So Job, please share how you and HCP are partnering with us.
Can I just say, thank you, Hillary. Can I just say that it's tough to follow Daniel, Ito, and Rami. So if I end up being nervous, in particular, a video coming from, I know, Daniel, you thought the IMAX version on Zoom was tough, but by compare, I have to say that was absolutely amazing. I wanted to say first, on behalf of Dr. Tabin, who is in Tanzania today, and Dr. Ruid, who it's late in the evening in Nepal, that they both send their regards. Gift of Sight is, as many of you know, is supporting G100 Visionaries, my co-founders, Dr. Ruid, Dr. Tabin, and the Himalayan Cataract Project team. This 3-year campaign aims to provide 24,000 people with sight-saving, life-restoring, some would argue, surgeries, cataract surgeries, primarily over a 3-year stretch. And most of that is intended to be in places where access to care is not accessible or economically feasible. What's really great, I hope it's, seeing that we're all here on Zoom and it's visual, and we're talking about visionaries, the effort, the beauty of the partnership is that you all get it, that we're each eye is a life. We're creating systemic and long-term change by training local ophthalmologists and surgical teams to provide this care. And we're so happy to be doing this with you in the campaign in our 25th year, having reached over 13 million people with examination and basic treatment. And of that 13 million to date, over 1 million have received this particular, literally, gift of sight.
That's terrific. Well, we're very happy to have you as a partner. And I think one of the things we like to say here is we like to make the impossible possible. What, in your role and with your extremely rewarding job, what's your version of that?
That's a great question. Avoidable blindness is one of those public health problems that can be solved, to use Dr. Tabin's words. And the way I feel, over 18 or 19 years now, that it's something we are addressing. It's actually tangible and solvable. they believe, and therefore HCP believes, and it's easy to believe that, you know, no one in this world should be needlessly blind. And when it was founded, you know, Dr. Ruid is a Nepalese man, that the thought was it would take a lifetime to reverse the backlog, reverse the tide of needless blindness just in Nepal. And now, 20-something years later, it didn't take 25 years, but 20-something years later, that blindness rate was reversed. And we have replicated that, we've exported that model, very simple science, both the procedure and then the hospital and non-hospital based provision of that care. And we've taken that to over 25 different countries, some of which we've invested majorly in. And, you know, it's real simple from the non-clinical side as well to think just economically. There's studies that show that every surgery has a 400% return to those local communities. That's why we'll go. It's not so much impossible, possible. It's reaching the unreachable in the world that we live in, but I totally appreciate the perspective, and we're helping give people their lives back and empower the communities wherein they live and exist to care for one another. So it's supremely empowering for everyone at every level. I can't tell you what it's like to be the doctor because I'm not one, but standing side by side, watching thousands and thousands of these with these genius people and their trainees has just been the most invigorating thing that's ever happened in my life.
Well, we're very happy to have you with us. And we had some questions from the audience, which I'll forward to you after in terms of on the chat. There's things going on that we'll have questions of, but thank you again. And we're going to move on to the next subject. Thank you, Joe. So the next thing is just a really quick update on what we're doing with the New York Festival's Genius 100 Inspiration Award, honoring impactful work that inspires positive change in the world. This was a concept that came about over COVID last summer, as an example of collaboration between myself and over a cup of coffee in the backyard of our apartment building on the Upper East Side of New York, between myself and Scott Rose, the executive director of the Festival Awards, as he was really interested in and excited about what Genius has to offer and figuring out how we can collaborate. And we ended up here with the first ever G100 Inspiration Award for the most impactful campaign of 2020. And I know Obi's on the line, who's one of our esteemed judges. So we have Obi, Jose Miguel Sokolov, and James Kahn are judging it. And the awards are actually in action right now, or Scott would have been on with us today, because we're going to be announcing some winners very soon. And I don't know if the left or the right of your screen, you can see some crystal awards. Those are what the Genius 100 Award is actually going to look like. We've had responses from brands around the world, including WhatsApp and IKEA. So we've got some major brands that are interested in participating in this award. Obi, are you there?
Yes, I am, Hillary. And just to say that it was such a delight to read through the various presentations that were submissions that were made. Like you said, IKEA, you have United Ways, you have the group on Down syndrome, you have quite extraordinary adverts that came in for this award, and also consistent with our desire to inspire people to action. There were a couple of them that had to do with, at least two of them had to do with democracy and getting the citizens into the habit of votes. One had to do with the Latino group in the US. It was just quite a good array of submissions, and I was so delighted to evaluate all of them, consistent with this desire for our shared humanity to continue to inspire the kind of change that we want to see around the world. I think this is really a good one for Genius 100, and the enthusiastic submissions really show that this is a good initiative that we embarked upon. So thanks for the honor of being one of the 3 evaluators of this award. Thank you, Hilary. Over to you.
Thank you so much. Thanks for that feedback. So that's what's going on with that. So we'll be announcing, you'll get, through our e-blast newsletters, press releases, all the things that we're doing. We'll be announcing the winner shortly. So stay tuned for that news from us. And over to Helen.
Thank you, Hillary. Sima, are you
Yes,
there? Hi, Sima. Is your camera not working or?
it's working now.
Oh, there you are. Hi, Sima. So everyone, please welcome world-renowned, extraordinary woman who is a human rights activist, Sima. Thank you for being with us here today. The work that you continue to do in Afghanistan is absolutely paramount. You're a beacon of hope for women. And since the inception of the university, the Garashad University that you had started, that you created, since its inception, has celebrated 3,159 graduates to date, out of which 1,217 students were women, which is absolutely incredible. And they've graduated with a bachelor's degree from one of the 4 faculties that include law and foreign relations, economics and management, computer, and computer science and civil engineering. Can you further elaborate on why education, education is important in general, but why is it so important for women in Afghanistan?
Well, first of all, thank you very much, and good morning or good afternoon to everyone. I'm delighted to be part of this program and to be a member of this G100. I think I live in a country where we see the lack of education, what has been done to the people or what is doing to the people. So that is why I started to do education, and that is the war and the conflict in Afghanistan is so long and aggressive and violent because of lack of education. So I was thinking that we should start education. That's why I focused more on education and started this university as well. In this university, we are not only teaching them the faculties that you mentioned, but we really try to change their mentality and bring them as a good citizen for Afghanistan and also for the world. And that is key in order to change the society within countries like us who are in conflict for so many years.
Wonderful. And through much adversity, we have a common theme here at Genius 100 is making the impossible possible. How do you continue to make the impossible possible?
Well, I think first of all, it requires a lot of commitment. Of course, these kind of work in countries like Afghanistan, where the majority of the people are uneducated, and you know about the Taliban and their behavior towards women. So I saw the result of my life, and I was able to change the life of some people who participated on the education program that I had. So I think we have a say in Afghanistan that when you educate a man, you educate a person. If you educate a woman, you educate a society, or you educate a family. So that was the reason that I really started and focused on education. What I would say that a lot of the activities and work, as you said, that are not impossible, but it might be difficult. But with a strong commitment and united approach with friends such as yours, we will be able to make those impossible, or of course, Einstein said that impossible can be possible if we have the commitment and strong strong political commitment to that, and stand for those principles that we believe on it, and that is also equality and access to education as a basic human rights for me.
Wonderful. And we're so proud to be working with you. Do you want to speak a little bit to the campaign that we have going on with you?
Yes, I think we started this campaign with you and Hilary, both of you. Thank to both of you that you really helped. Rami was also involved at the beginning. We try to educate, to facilitate access to education for the women who are more vulnerable in Afghanistan. I mean, I'm sorry that I'm focusing on Afghanistan because we are so famous being the worst country for women. So that's why we are trying to help. I mean, either they are not have access to education because of the poverty or because of the patriarchal culture in the country. So because people are very poor and they cannot really afford to send their children to get education, and usually they prefer their boys and their sons. So based on that we educate a woman in order to educate the society, first of all, give them the possibility and empower them to stand on their own feet and defend their rights and live with dignity and integrity, of course. And secondly, through educated women and girls, we really promote gender equality, and that can be a guarantee for a sustainable development and also a guarantee for a sustainable peace. So that's why the building peace in Afghanistan will help building peace in the rest of the world. If we don't have peace, we will have a problem, as we already shown during the history, and we will cause problem to the other countries. I keep telling the people that we need to focus on education and empower the people. Otherwise, if nothing else reach you, you will reach a lot of immigrants, and you also reach at least the opium and heroin from Afghanistan to your streets to have an impact to on your family and your children.
Sima, thank you so much. And as a mother who is saving up to for my daughter to go to university, I look at the fee that it costs to send a woman in Afghanistan. It is $7,200 US for a female to get a full ride. It's a full scholarship for 4 years. It covers everything: books, room and board, food, you name it. I mean, it's double that in a year, triple that. So thank you. We're so pleased to be working with you on this, and we'll make sure that the community receives not only this information, but all the other information of the other campaigns that we're working on. So Sima, thank you so much.
Thank you. I think the women in Afghanistan deserve to live with dignity. And one of the way is to educate them and give them the tools to stand for their own rights. And thank you very much.
Thank you, Sima. Okay.
The world needs hope, courage, and inspiration, now more than ever. In June and July this year, Chris Bertish will undertake an incredible new adventure to be the first person ever to wing foil alone and completely unsupported across any ocean, completely powered by nature. A world-first carbon net zero project. Just like the challenges we face globally in the face of COVID-19, ocean health, and climate change issues, this will be tough. We need the courage to stand together and take action to help protect 30% of the oceans by 2030 and achieve carbon net zero by 2050, before it's too late. All money raised through this expedition, once it begins, will be used to give back to people, the planet, education, and conservation. On the journey, Chris will gather important oceanic data and create live ocean-themed classrooms to inspire millions of learners around the world to get involved and care about our oceans, highlighting the plastic pollution and global climate change challenges. Because every second breath we take comes from the ocean. This journey will require immense courage, action, perseverance, and resilience.
just like taking on the climate crisis. We must rise up, take action, and act now. Together we can achieve this. We can achieve anything, even the seemingly impossible. Get involved. Get on board. The Transpac Wing Project. The world.
All right, Chris Bertish, are you there? I see you.
Morning, Helen. Morning, Hillary. Morning, whole team. Ido, Rami, Linda, Ali. Lovely to have everyone on board, and thanks very much for the intro.
Chris, thank you so much for joining us today. Okay, you lead a very interesting and extraordinary life, and you're always pushing yourself to the limit, but not only the physical limits, like you push so hard to do good in the world. And, you know, again, the common theme is, making the impossible possible. And those are words that you share a lot in your talks. What drives you to achieve these great heights? Because you really push the limits.
Thanks, Helen, and thanks, Hillary, for putting this on today. I think you guys have done an amazing job. So thanks, team. It's always super inspiring to watch what you do and to see where you're taking the G100 and everything you guys do. So thank you. I just everything that I do is really about inspiring positive change and inspiring the greatest potential out of individuals and the youth, really. So any opportunity that I do through my projects, that's what they're really designed to do, is inspire people to believe themselves, what's possible, and to be able to highlight some critical climate change issues, and inspire kids to go out and have an adventure themselves, and what they can do if they come up with creative ideas, to be able to go and follow them and have the courage to be able to believe in themselves and going out and having that adventure. But while they do that, they fall in love with nature, and when you fall in love with something, you want to protect it and respect it. And that's really what everything that I do is about, is inspiring positive change in the youth, and being able to get people a bigger picture of the world and what little ideas can become when you believe in them and you take action.
Amazing. And can you tell our community about the next steps for your Transpac Wing project and how we can all support you?
Thanks, Helen. Yeah, we actually we did a test run of everything about 3 weeks ago, where we set a new world record actually from Half Moon Bay down to Mara Bay, about 212 miles, which is just under sort of 10-fold what the world record was previously. And we tested a lot of our systems. The objective of this project is to be completely powered by nature, for nature, and raise awareness about protecting 30% of our oceans by 2030 and getting down to carbon net zero by 2030, but also by developing through creativity and imagination, creating the first ever ocean classroom sessions, which are 6 to 8 sessions that we're going to be doing across the Pacific Ocean. One of the main reasons why we did this sort of test version of the project was to test all the main systems. And there were a couple of challenges because we're doing something that's never been done before. Like everything, often it doesn't work exactly the way you want it to do first time. We're doing everything via remote satellite communication. So the SATCOM systems that we have to be powered by solar, wind, hydropower. And my craft that I'm on is literally only 1 meter wide by 19 feet long. So it's only like this much off the water, and I'm in the ocean. So it's very wild and severe, and none of these systems are really designed for what we're doing. So we're testing them, and we had some challenges with how we charge the systems, how we run the systems from out there. So I've had to bring the craft in. We getting a whole lot of the systems redone and changed to be able to accommodate some of the challenges that we had, and that'll probably take a couple of months to get sorted out and get rewired. And then we plan on going out in sort of April, May next year to be able to do these ocean classroom sessions as I go across the Pacific Ocean, completely powered by solar, wind, and hydropower. I hold a little wing that'll take me over 2,500 miles across the Pacific alone, unsupported, unassisted, to inspire positive change and inspire kids to go out and adventure, believe in themselves and what's possible, and then do these ocean themed classroom sessions, which are about half an hour, have multiple different panel members on them, and talk about the different challenges we have in the ocean with plastic pollution, illegal fishing, the fishing nets that affect the mammals, the sedation levels, which is the noise pollution that affects the communication of the mammals, the sea temperature, pH levels of the oceans, and then the plastic pollution problem, the sea acidity, and all these kind of theme sessions along the journey, which none of this has ever been done before. It's an idea that I came up with, which is pretty innovative. We've already done a couple of the little ocean themed classroom sessions that we've done the basic outline for it, and they've been incredibly well received. So we're really looking forward to it. We've got about $30,000 that we still outstanding to be able to get the craft the way we wanted to get it, and then get the ocean classroom sessions themed in the way that we want to lay them out, so we can actually implement them, even if we have issues from the craft where a lot of it's already pre-packaged before we even go out. So my little input from the ocean will just add it all and bring it all together.
Amazing. Chris, thank you so much. Please keep
No
us
worries.
up to, we speak often, but let's stay connected, and so that we can share updates with the rest of the community. Thank you so much. This is really
With pleasure. Thank you very much for all the great work everyone's doing, and yeah, keep inspiring the positive change that we want to see in the world today, tomorrow, and the future.
amazing. Thank you.
Without the ocean, there is no life.
While Bill was developing business cases for Vancouver Island, he learned that seaweed was going to change the world. After an hour on the phone with one of Canada's most knowledgeable seaweed experts, Bill's entrepreneurial spirit was sparked, not because he needed a new project, but because of the positive social, environmental, and economic benefits this budding sector offered. Seaweed farming helps feed our growing populations, helps revitalize coastal communities, and reverses human impact on the oceans. Only 2% of our global food production comes from the ocean, but oceans cover 70% of our planet.
Seems like a no-brainer to me.
Over to you, Hillary.
Hi, everyone. So I think we are getting, I'm echoing. I think we're getting towards the end of our first hour, but hopefully everyone can stay around. We're definitely on board till at least 1:30, and our keynote presentation is just about to start with the wonderful Bill Collins, who I can see over there. So first of all, I wanted to thank you, Chris and Helen, for the great interview that we just did about Transpac Wing, which is part of our G100 Blue Ocean campaign, which has just been kicked off this year. And without further ado, it's my great pleasure to introduce Bill Collins, Chairman of Cascadia Seaweed, as our special guest and keynote presenter for today, to talk about his thoughts on ocean preservation, revitalization, and the blue economy. Welcome, Bill.
Hello.
Hi.
Nice to be here.
Great. Well, we're so happy to have you, and also to welcome you to the G100 community. Bill's a new member of our community, and as I suppose is in your nature, and no pun intended, you dove right in, and you're now chairing, helping to chair the G100 Blue Ocean campaign. So you've had an extraordinary career, clearly. What has inspired you to do what you're doing now?
Thanks, Hillary. Hello, all. What inspires me, I guess, was the privilege and honor I've had of being in and under the water in many of the world's oceans, whether it's from the Arctic to the South Pacific or from the Persian Gulf to the Indian Ocean. What strikes me about our planet is the incredible beauty all the way through. And with this beauty and with this responsibility, there is it's an imperative on all of us to do our part, as Chris Bertish quite rightly pointed out, to ensure the longevity of this bounty that we have on the planet. 70% of the world's oceans, of the world, is covered with ocean. And we mistreat it, and we have mistreated it. And it's time that we, as folks that are supposed to inspire and promote longevity and health and well-being and prosperity throughout the planet, we have to do our part. And that's why I've taken on the task of chairing the Blue Ocean campaign, because we're very passionate and we have to get the job done. There's no time to wait, Hillary.
That is very, very true. And thank you for being part of Chris's efforts for Transpac Wing. You've been a great supporter of his, and I'm sure that collaboration will only grow. So one of the questions I've been asking everyone is, we like to make the impossible possible. What is your version of that?
Well, we took something seemingly simple, and that is seaweed. Now, if you've had the luxury of living on the coast, you'll know that seaweed is a part of the ocean. We see it on rocks, we see it as part of coral reefs. It is essentially all around us. And it is a very low part of the food chain. In the big ecosystem, a lot of times we focus on the big mammals, for example, fish, but seaweed is an algae. It's a macroalgae, so it's visible and it's in our faces, yet it is under peril globally. So we at Cascadia, we took on the challenge and asked ourselves the question, is it possible for us to put back into the ocean the framework for holistic support of ecosystems? Seaweed, algae being a lower form in the food chain. Can we start there with some fundamental improvement to in fact, we talk about sustainable all the time these days. Well, sustainable, I'm afraid, is no longer adequate. We have to think regeneratively. We have to put back in more than we're taking out. And that's the basis for Cascadia Seaweed. So we're actually developing technologies with our science and engineering team. We're developing technologies to cultivate seaweed in the ocean. What that means is that we take seed, we develop it, we create seedlings in a nursery, and then we plant them back in the ocean. We put back the seaweed biomass that's on a road to destruction worldwide. As I mentioned, the ocean is a huge heat sink. If it doesn't work properly in all its constituents, we run the risk of damaging it forever, and that's we can't have, because, as the video pointed out, life on Earth as we know it is a function of the ocean.
So can you just tell us briefly, and then I know you have a few things you want to go over in terms of teaching us a little about the blue economy and some other things, but can you tell us about what you're developing as a plant-based protein?
Right. Seaweed is a wonderful source of nutrition. It has minerals, it has vitamins, it has more calcium, for example, than milk. It's one of the few, if not the only, vegan source of vitamin B12. It has the right constituents for us to take it in and eat it. And of course, in North America, we're relatively new to eating seaweed, but in folks in places like South Korea and Japan and China, folks there have been eating it for as long as the ocean has existed, and people have walked the shores. It is highly nutritious. From our perspective, our goal is to introduce it to the North American palate, and then perhaps to go beyond the shores of North America into Europe, for example, places that don't traditionally eat seaweed. Create the palate for folks that will say, you know what, this isn't half bad. And Hillary, what we say all the time is, folks have this view that seaweed is slimy and smelly. And if you were to have carrots, for example, and you threw them on the beach for 3 weeks, they would be slimy and smelly too. But when you take seaweed right out of the ocean, it is crunchy, it has a delicious texture and flavors, and it is good. Seaweed cultivation is one of the few industries where the more you do it, the better it is for the planet, because the act of seaweed growing, it gives back to the ocean. It sequesters carbon, which is originally in the carbon balance. Seaweed made up a very large portion of sequestering that carbon and moderating ocean temperatures. It also provides oxygen in the water. It has a marvelous ability to uptake excess nutrients, and particularly for conservation in areas that have poor land use practice, has used lots of fertilizers in our coastal zone. Those fertilizers end up as nitrogen in the ocean, and of course nitrogen gets fed upon by nasty algae, blue-green algae, for example. Blue-green algae will suck the life out of the ocean by eating up all the oxygen at an incredible rate, killing a lot of things that are within that. By planting seaweed, by regenerating the ocean through seaweed, we're able to take up those excess nutrients from poor land use and at least give our planet a fighting chance, because we do have terrestrial things that we have to do. We have to deliver better energy solutions, for example. In the meantime, we can plant seaweed right away and stave off the disaster which we believe will come. I think seaweed cultivation gives us hope while we make the bigger decisions on land to protect our planet into the future.
Well, that is a whole lot to take in and very good information. So do you want to spend a few minutes teaching us a little bit about the blue economy?
Sure, I would love to. What Western governments are now taking on, and Canada is leading the charge in extraction of wealth and value from the ocean in a way that we haven't done it in the past. If you did a Google search, for example, on British Columbia, you would find an incredible debate about open net pen finfish farming. So anytime you put anything in the ocean to exploit its bounty, you run the risk of impact, and you will impact it, there is no doubt. But if our engineers and our scientists can extract bounty by regenerative farming practice, we can put back into the ocean more than we're taking out, and at the same time feed people. So if you look at the UN Sustainable Development Goals, it is clear that we need to feed people. 70%, as I mentioned, of the ocean of the planet is covered in ocean, yet only 2% of food comes from the ocean. If we change the way we're extracting food from the ocean, we have a chance at supporting the food that we need as a planet to deliver the 10 or 11 billion dollars. The World Bank, 10 or 11 billion people. The World Bank Group estimates that the seaweed industry will generate 28 billion US dollars per annum over the next 20 years, and it could supply 10% of the world's food stores. So these are big numbers if we're able to take advantage of it. And as I mentioned, and I will come back to it many times, we have to do this in harmony with the ocean. We cannot make the same mistakes of the past. So it's really important. Most people say we have to have climate action, and Cascadia Seaweed is what our grand vision is, to create a for-profit enterprise that flips the whole power structure in people, planet, profit on its end. So typically, for-profit is just that. Profit is the driver, people are the enablers, and planet, well, that's something that we have to pay attention to. Our goal is to flip that on its end so that people and planet become the directives and profit becomes the enabler. And by doing that, we can regenerate and hopefully revitalize not just the oceans, but coastal communities that depend on the ocean for food. And that's not just in the North American context, that is everywhere. What we're trying to do is to think globally, but act locally. So from our perspective, it's very important that we learn the techniques to do this, but that we have courage in taking them to the rest of the planet. And Hillary, I'll give you an example. When we first talked to the G100, we were here at Cascadia saying, how can we really make a difference, an impactful difference? If you look globally, there's a lot of attention being paid to ocean revitalization. Chris is a great example of that. We have to bring awareness to everybody on the impacts that we're making and having on our ocean, the negative impacts. We thought, how do we give people hope? So there is a move afoot globally to create something that we're terming right now the ripples of hope, but it is essentially taking reforestation in the terrestrial sense and now applying it to the ocean. It is possible, for example, and our scientists and engineers are working on it as we speak, along with many universities across the globe, to create seaweed seedling impregnated pucks or gravel. And you create the seedlings on this substrate and you throw it off the back of a boat. And from that, in our coastal zones, we will be able to reforest, repopulate the forest, the seaweed forests that are so rapidly disappearing from our coasts. In addition, because we know that seaweed is highly nutritious, it is also quite possible to grow species of seaweed that species that have a regional context, because you don't want to be creating invasive species in other regions where you shouldn't. We believe we can grow these forests of seaweed, and these forests of seaweed can be harvested locally, dried, or eaten fresh as salad, for example, and we will provide sustainable and sustaining food source for local communities worldwide. This is a vision that we have. We believe technology, science and engineering will be brought to the fore on doing this. It is within our fingertips to do it. And that's part of my rationale for wanting to take on this Blue Ocean campaign, because I think we can do this, and it just commands it will make such a practical difference to coastal communities worldwide. We have to do this kind of thing, and through Cascadia and the efforts of the G100 and you, the community, we need your support in doing this. So we're looking for folks to come on board with this Blue Ocean campaign. Chris, Bertish, you've seen, ourselves here at Cascadia, together we can make a difference, and we should, and we have to make a difference, and this is one way that we're doing it. So the Blue Ocean economy collectively is a way to extract and support and generate and revitalize value in our coastal communities worldwide. We're starting here in British Columbia, but we intend to take it globally. And I'll add a note here because I think it's extremely important. Yesterday, in British Columbia and Vancouver Island and BC in general, was the hottest day on record. The hottest day ever. In some cases, communities were blasted by the sun 10 degrees hotter than they've ever had in history. Climate change is around us. Plants are burning on the vine here in British Columbia, and it will happen, as you know, it is happening globally. So the time is now to start putting back. It's really important. At the same time, in Canada, we have our First Nations communities that have been served injustice for so long. This is a way to put people back to work in their communities, in their coastal zones, becoming farmers, to feed people, to provide agri-feeds. I'll mention a quick point here in the blue economy. Science has shown in the last 5 years that a seaweed supplement for a cow, whether it's beef cattle or whether it's milk cows, a seaweed supplement can almost zero methane emissions from cows. And of course, agricultural practice, and in particular, bovine enteric methane, accounts for about 4.5% of global GHGs. This can be eliminated overnight. We have the opportunity to scale up. As I said, scale up seaweed cultivation means putting back biomass in the ocean to help our planet survive. At the same time, we can feed it to cows and improve the health, welfare of the cows, and thus feed people more healthfully, and at the same time reduce the carbon imbalance that exists. Of course, it's all about decarbonizing the atmosphere and recarbonizing the biosphere. The opportunity is at hand to leverage the blue economy, and I'm asking for everybody's support in doing this. Please come on board.
Thank you so much, Bill. That was so informative in so many ways. There's 100 questions we could ask on each topic that you brought up, but I want to give everyone the opportunity to be part of the Q&A and after party. So if you could stick around for a few minutes, we're just going to wrap up with our Genius news, and then everyone who wants to can feel free to stick around and exchange information, and we'll keep going. So just to give us a quick wrap up of today, you've all heard the campaigns that we have live and what's going on, and thank you to all of our special guests. We have a few things in development. One, I think Tori might still be on, coming off of what Bill was just talking about in terms of sustainable food source, etc. We're doing a Inspired by Science Fall Harvest event, which will be chaired by Tori, and we're getting a campaign together. That information is forthcoming, but that's going to be later on this fall. In December, we're hoping to have a musical event with Shuki Levy and Maestro Eduardo, both Visionaries, hopefully in the Miami area. And at the end of the year, we're going back up to space doing Around the World in 90 Minutes for New Year's. Have a genius way to celebrate the new year. And in March, on March 14th, 2020, we'll be back with our next Visionary induction ceremony. So I'm going to turn this back over to Rami just for some call to action, and then it's open forum. Thank you all again for coming today.
Thank you so much, Hillary, and thank you, everybody. I must say that the first time I met Dr. Bill Collins, I was so intrigued and amazed by the fact that we have solutions and a very simple activation of the solution. We can really create an impact that change the world. One of the call for activism is really not to be a passive visitors into this world, but to really take our destiny in our own hands and provide the solution, work for the solution. In Genius 100, we try to create a very simple metric. You know, what is the challenge? What is the solution? And what is what type of an impact resource are going to create? And in the next couple of weeks, hopefully within 2 months, we will be able to provide a very simple and clear metrics that show how in a very simple act of throwing just a pellet from a back of a boat, how everyone that was supported will be able to change the world actually. And you know, we're working, and of course, Chris is a great advocate for that, and Chris is the voice and the poster boy that's going to lead this mission in raising the awareness. And I just would like to say, Bill, if you allow me, you came up to the plate with your company and committed $10,000 to Chris' mission and to start this process. And we're looking for the matching for that for Chris for another $20,000 that will allow us to go ahead and to do what we need to do. So, you know, thank you so much. Those of you who just joined us, I hope we didn't scare you. I hope we didn't put too much on your plate, but we're really trying to be very focused in our goals and mission. And I would like to thank again the professional team who helped to take the vision of the collective vision of Genius 100 and put it together with the committee that's we meeting weekly, you know, with Monette, with Ala, with Ido, with Dan, and many others that's always taking our call. So thank you so much. Those of you who will be interested to become members, we will send all of you soon just a package. You can look at it, and we obviously can book a one-on-one call to share with you, to explain, to explore your passion. What is your vision? Where you want to be? How you, on an individual basis, want to partner with us? So thank you so much. I think that all the different projects that we saw here are incredible, diverse, addressing different issues, and collectively, if we will provide the needs for all of them, we definitely will be able to sit here 3 or 4 years from now and review a major impact of a major collective impact that we're all going to create together. So thank you so much.
Thank you, Rami. So I think how do we
Yeah, so if everyone wants to go back to that little view icon on the top right
gallery
screen, yeah, and just click to gallery so that we can all see each other. And let's open
the chat.
Yeah. Does anyone have any questions or a question?
Right, just amazing to see everybody. What can I tell you? From Tori, of course, that's been extremely supportive in Los Angeles, to Obi in Nigeria, to Bill in Vancouver Islands, and amazing. Greg Ashley, my friend, Ido, Leanne in Montreal, Sima in Afghanistan, you know, just Amir in Israel. Just look at the faces and think, where is these people coming from and how they involve. Eldad in New York. Just amazing, really amazing. I'm sorry, Helen Lufkin, that's been instrumental in helping us putting this. Just incredible, unbelievable. I'm truly moved and excited. Unfortunately, those who are hiding behind your titles, We would love to see your faces if you can. It would be nice
Yes,
to see you.
Ido, I'd like to see your face, Ido. Come on.
Oh, there's a doggy. Who's got the dog?
Sealy, hi Sealy.
Hey, Sealy, you have a cute dog.
And Sealy was the first that couple of, I think, just under a year, but organized was the first call related to the ocean, with the center that supported, the name after her late husband in Israel, supporting. And there I had a first conversation with an incredible scientist as well that told us what is it between whale's brain into climate change. So so many things are connected, and I shared it also with Amir, who is here as a brain scientist, and of course with Bill as well. So we're going to build an incredible network that's going to address many aspects of this challenge, and we have all the right talent here. It's incredible.
Does anyone have any questions? Drop them in the chat or just open forum.
Go ahead.
Yeah, open forum. Go for it.
Hi everyone. Hi Rami and Helen and Hillary and everyone else. I'm kind of one of the new kids, I guess. I have to say it's very inspiring. It's the first time, obviously, I spoke with you guys together and separately, and I had a glimpse. And every time we spoke, you put a different area of the Genius 100 operation under the spotlight. So I was able to kind of peek at different aspects. But it's the first time I kind of see it all together in sequence with the people behind the different projects, with a nice video to boot, and it's quite inspiring. I have to say I'm very happy and feel privileged to know you guys and be a part of it. And we're already I'm already kind of involved with one of the initiatives, so I'm very happy to do so. That's a gift of sight. And regarding Cascadia, Hillary, just to remind you, if you think there is this connection with Donna over here on Long Island in the Hamptons that could help. I don't know. I don't know enough about either operation, but I kind of heard about both from the people who have the vision and lead those initiatives. And it sounds like there are a lot of points where these could cross paths and possibly join forces. So if any of you guys are involved with the Cascadia project, think it's appropriate or could help somehow, just let me know and we can do it offline.
Well, I think what we should do is get a call set up with the Cascadia team and yourself, and I can definitely loop in like what I know about. I just came back from the Hamptons actually a day ago or so, and I was very happy. I've been teasing Eldad because he sold one of the most famous restaurants in the Hamptons and it closed down and everyone was angry, and now they're back in business. So I told him I can talk to him again.
Hey, you need to clean up my PR over there, Hillary, because I never closed it. The guy wanted
You're in
to
bad
retire.
shape. You're in bad shape. So you better do something really good for the environment. Over there.
They did. I didn't realize that they're actually going to reopen that restaurant under a very similar name. So I think they're using the same name, whether with a variation on it. And Donna just sent you the menu the other day, and they're actually putting to practice whatever it is that they're doing in the ocean in what do you call it? Peconic Bay and Cold Spring Pond over there, and it's quite amazing and it looks quite appetizing. So I'm happy to go there, and maybe I'll be able to clean up my PR a little bit because I know it's not the greatest right now.
Yeah, we need to up your game, but maybe we can loop Chris Bertish in and Bill, and we'll have we should just do a quick like a get together with the group of people. If anyone else here is interested in this particular topic about Cascadia ocean preservation, what Eldad is talking about is kind of specific to the Hamptons in New York, but obviously the issues are global. So anyone else who's interested in being part of that discussion, just let us know and I'll get that set up.
Hillary, Bill here, what was interesting, a couple of weeks ago, we had 7 days of Seaweed. It was a festival, a global festival, although virtually, as you are aware. We had 600 people register and about 1,500 people or so attended sessions. But one of the most interesting things that we did was we sent frozen seaweed across Canada to some of the preeminent culinary folks, chefs across Canada, and they each created a dish using seaweed. You can go on our YouTube channel and have a look and follow along with the recipes. Greg and I did for our families, we recreated one of the recipes, which was a seaweed encrusted halibut. And honestly, it will change your view of the culinary delights around seaweed. It really will.
Bill, I think you're 100% right. I think most people don't realize like how much diversity there is in seaweed, and I think, as you're mentioning as well, people spend so much time focusing on trying to restore our climate from planting trees, but I think people forget that every second breath we take comes from the ocean, and the amount of carbon that gets sequestered by sea trees and kelp is actually way bigger and more than any other plant species on the planet. And I think when you talk about not just planting, but like regenerative planting, I think most people always just don't realize like how much of an impact that has on the environment and how quick and easy and cost effective it is to be able to do that. We involved in a project to be able to also restore some of the kelp forest in the Monterey Bay area where we're starting from, and it's like literally $1 per square foot, which is absolutely staggering how cost effective it is and how much good it gives back to people, planet, and our oceans, which is incredible. So there's so many ways we can cross-pollinate across multiple different communities and resources where it actually benefits everyone. And I think that's one of the main assets and best points to take away from the whole economy of seaweed, really, which most people aren't really aware of.
I just wanted to say that as one who was a commissioner on the Global Oceans Commission, I find your project really fascinating because the ocean is really the next frontier. And quite a lot in terms of the governance of the ocean should interest us in G100 because there's a lot that people at the level of political and policy leadership need to grasp. And that's far distant away because the last time there was a real global conversation around the ocean, many of the countries that should have been interested were not at the table. So if this is a good entry point for us, then it really is one that we should take seriously. So bravo to you, my dear friend, Chris, and to you, Bill.
Thanks, Obi.
Yeah.
Keep up the good work, Obi. You've always been amazing and an inspiration to all of us. So keep up the good work your side.
I think that you will love to hear that the model that Bill and I and Hillary and Greg Ashley, which is my very good friend, and he's part of the board of director of Cascadia, we've been talking about, is that part of their model is to create sustainable native community along the British, the British, what it's called, sorry, British Columbia coast. And the model we discussed from day one is how we can prove this model of creating seaweed farming to help native community to be sustainable and to replace the industry of salmon farming or creating huge issues by a holistic approach to the ocean, and to bring it to West Africa, to North Africa, and to try to create the similar concept of a sustainable community and giving an alternative source of
absolutely.
income. And with your incredible history, experience, passion, and drive, I think that you'll be able to help us bring this dream true.
You just signed up for another committee. You're almost done. I mean, you're almost finished watching all the stuff for the festival awards. You need something to do, I'm sure.
Yeah, so I was going to say that, Obi, you would be fantastic for this project, especially with what Rami is talking about. And I know that everybody here is really excited about it, but I do have to thank Rami too for thinking about this ripple of hope. I mean, and putting that as an idea of where we can go forward. So Bill, Rami, I mean, those brains and Obi, we're sure to do something really great. While I have everybody, we must remember education as well for Sima, because educating girls will help us do what we're doing here. And if we can link the two of educating girls and maybe learning about the ocean and figuring out a project between the two, who knows what can happen from there. And all the projects, including the project for blind. I think we're, as one of the founders, I'm really privileged to be here today and to watch after quite a few years of where we've advanced, where we're going. We're on the mark. We had a lot of history as to how we're getting there, where we're going, but I think we now have the patent of what we're doing, and the projects that we're doing are in all arenas. And I just think that everybody wants to get engaged in all of them, but at least pick one and make sure that you join us, you become a member, and you pick one of the projects that you're really passionate about, and we need your help. So, and of course, sharing these, one of the things that Danielle and Ido didn't talk about, this movie that they're doing, the IMAX movie, is really going to be based on 2 Nobel Prize winners, females, that are following really in the suit of Einstein. So again, it's about STEM, it's about women, it's about education. So I think we're all going in the right direction. Thank you.
Thank you. Before we wrap up, and I have at least to go to my next meeting, I would recommend to Hillary and Helen, maybe we should have, I see we all enjoy, it's a pleasure really seeing everybody and have a chance just to have a conversation. I don't think that we're going to wait for really a long time. Maybe we should try and create during the summer or every second month, something like, we had the Visionary Cafe concept when we could meet in person. We could do it virtual, just to visit, just to network, just to chat, just to enjoy the company of each other. We can create these social meetings that we will just be together. Everybody can raise, everybody can share. We can have a conversation not only on what is the existing project we're doing, but on everybody can bring some kind of a virtual genius Hyde Park. That's, we can talk on whatever we want.
Yeah,
recommendation, think about it. And if it will work, I think everybody will enjoy it. So
I think the more, collective, the more we can get to, I mean, especially since we've all had such a, missing in action of human connectivity, the more we can start to get together, whether that's continuing through Zoom or, starting to figure out where we're all going to meet in one place again. I'm all for it. Because I think, the magic happens. I mean, certainly the magic happens because we're all connected and we're all here and we're all dedicated to making the world a better place. But I think the magic really happens when we can sit down over, a glass of wine or coffee or whatever else that is, and some seaweed, whatever it is, and some talk and just talk about things. I think that would be really great. We're going to get some events, which I didn't mention, but I think we're going to have some of possibly our first events in. We're starting to think about having one in January in Palm Beach. So we're trying to get some things, off and running in terms of even getting people in the same place, which would be terrific. But happy to schedule as many meetings and calls, individual, group, whatever we want to do, because we can and we should. So on that note, thank you all so much for coming. Any questions, please just reach out. Anything you want to know more about, want to meet each other, whatever it is, we'll do it. Thank you.
Thanks, Bye, everybody. Good to see you all.
Bye, everyone.
Guys, bye-bye.
Good to see you all.
Bye.
Thanks, Joe. Hi, everybody. I'm the last one here. I'm